it to where it does like it uses an AI, so the AI can do like a I don't know like a highlights, or we can do like just this. But I feel like it's better if it's focused on whoever's speaking, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but this is a really good software. So Riverside's really good for podcasting. It's a little bit better. I mean, it's made specifically for podcasting, so I think it's better than Zoom for this
Oh,
purpose.
nice. Yeah, I've recorded on Riverside, but I none of them have come out yet, so I haven't
Mm,
seen what it actually does. So
okay, yeah.
yeah.
So I know that Zoom has that sort of that cell phone type sound to it,
Hmm.
but yeah, this sounds really good, man. I say that as the last podcast I did, I had a problem with with me, not the guest, but my words were like the video and the audio weren't they were like out of sync, like just by a half a second, but it was enough for me to notice. So I was like, what's going on with this? So, anyways, they have a good support system,
Nice.
and they can usually run some kind of software thing and fix it. Uh, so yeah,
Nice.
so I'm excited to do this with you. I know we're going to
Yeah.
get into some stuff. You got a lot going on over there. So, if you want
Yeah.
to introduce yourself, say who you are, share anything that you feel is relevant, and we'll dive in.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Jessica Ty. I am a psychologist by training, and now I'm a career and leadership coach. And I have a background in mental health and was an executive in healthcare for 13 years. And now I have my own business and I help other people on stress management, career changes, transitions, things like that. And then I also have a small part of my practice where I still work with folks who grew up with parents who had mental health issues. So that's
Okay.
a small part of my practice. And so, yeah, I do have a lot going on.
That man. Yeah. Well, so that's a lot, but it's also like a lot of very big thing. Like I feel like mental health is like a
Mhm.
huge thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
is that mostly what you do is like mental health? I know you said like there's some stress stuff in there, like
Yeah, yeah. It's mostly so I work mostly with healthcare workers
okay,
because that's my background,
okay.
and I work with them on burnout and
Mm,
stress, and either staying in their job or career or finding something new.
okay.
So whatever their specific goals are, or maybe just elevating their leadership skills. Because I also work with leaders who are working on team building or team dynamics, things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it would sound it kind of maybe sounds backwards that you mentioned leadership with that, but it also makes a lot of sense because leadership I feel like is directly related to the person, you know, like it's related
Mm-hmm.
to you as a leader. Like I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like when we talk about leadership, we think about like what we do for others and other people, but it's really it comes down to the person. I feel like being the
Yeah.
best leader. I feel like is being your best your best self to other people in a way that they benefit. I feel like
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I was, there's a phrase called servant leadership. I know it's kind of a buzzword right now, but that's the kind of leader I was. I really believed that I was of service to others, and that's who I work with too. I work with other servant leaders. Those are the folks that are attracted to me because they really do believe that they're doing this for a purpose. They're not just
right.
doing it for a paycheck. They love their teams. They love what they do, but they're putting too much of themselves into it and don't have enough left for themselves at the end of the day. And
Mm,
that's what they really want, is to have time back in their day, to spend more time with their family, spend more time with hobbies, and not just doing the job like,
right.
16 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I help them do, is help, heal from that stress and then find more work life balance.
Okay. Well, so I feel like one of the things, man, about maybe that makes the best leaders I feel like is like self authenticity and like
Hmm.
vulnerability. And I feel like a person they don't have that unless they're very grounded with themselves, unless they have like a strong sense of unless they have that humility to be like, you know what, I was wrong about this. And I think that's like to me personally, that's the difference between a leader and like a boss. You know what I mean? Like because
Hmm.
I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been in the jobs where I just did not felt like the leadership was more like a you could tell it was a role instead of
Hmm.
the person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a calling.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah, like
yeah,
they're just doing it for the paycheck.
yeah. I think what it's something crazy, man. It's like I'm sure you know who Jordan Peterson is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he mentioned one time, and I don't have the source of this statistic, but he said something like 60% of managers offer zero or negative net value to a company, which means that like most people who are in managerial roles shouldn't be there. They're actually doing more harm than good to the company,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder. I haven't heard that piece from him, but I wonder if he was talking about like CEOs, like C-suite level, or like
Probably,
middle
yeah.
manager. A lot of people that I work with is that like middle manager
Mental, okay,
kind of, because they, they might have other directors and leaders underneath them or
right.
teams underneath them, but a lot of them um, do not feel like they have the autonomy to make decisions for the company,
A lot of
and
you say a
so
lot of
they,
managers feel that way.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So they don't feel like they have that autonomy. They feel like they're just, checking boxes all day, they're in meetings all day, and they don't have enough time to necessarily do their job.
right.
And they feel like, they really want to do a good job. They want to do a good job for the company, but the external pressures from the company really hinders them from doing a good job. And then the internal pressure that they put on themselves to do
Mm,
a good job, especially in healthcare. I know there's a lot of stuff about healthcare in the news right now because of United Healthcare, but I think that most people are in it for the right reasons. At least I
right.
have yet, to meet the psychopath that is, working in senior living or rehab. I have yet to meet those people.
Hmm.
Most of them are in there for the right reasons, but they're overexerting themselves and they want to stop doing that. So
Right.
those are the folks that I work with.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because first of all, that's encouraging to hear that you haven't met psychopaths in the healthcare industry yet. Because I feel like that's the if there
Not
was going to be a
yet.
psychopath, I feel like that'd be the worst industry for them to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That and
Yeah.
maybe second with that would be like finance, and then anyways.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm curious about this because so I own a landscaping company, and we're like a small, we're not like crazy big or anything, but we're like a small business. There's 6 of us total right now. Um, and so I'm curious about this because we do a lot of like commercial stuff. Like we work with other companies. There's people that like we go to a person and they go to a person and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I'm curious, like what it seems like on that bigger scale, like the systems of the big companies. It's like I feel that like sometimes they're too complex for to be productive, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
You like
Yeah.
because like at a certain point, man, if you have too many systems and you have too many things on one person, it gets to a place where it's like inefficient, you know? And I
Hmm.
say all that to say this. We talk about managers and like mid-level managers and leaders. I feel like most of these people, I know Jordan Peterson said, oh, well, 60% should be there. But like, I feel like 90% of them are overworked. You know what I mean? Like there's more on their
Absolutely.
plate than probably what should be.
Well, yeah, and I think one of the cultures in the workplace that I can attribute to that are they're managing to the financial statement, they're managing to the shareholder, and productivity is all that matters.
Hmm.
And so it becomes about these systems start to be in place. Speaking specifically about healthcare, the systems are existing to check a box for somebody else to
Right.
check a box, and it's not about actually caring for the people and caring for the patient, and there's so much redundancy, and I think that's what he's speaking to,
Okay.
which I completely agree with. There's way too much red tape. There's way too much there. It just makes it for from the patients to everybody that works there, it just creates a system that nobody wants to be a part of, and that's, I think, the conversations that are happening now, which I think is a good thing. It just, it happened for a really horrible reason. But I, I think which I'm talking about the murder of the United Healthcare
Right.
CEO. But I do think, murder's wrong. I'm just going to go out on a limb
Yeah.
and say that.
Yeah.
Just
For sure.
murder's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the conversations that are happening around the system and how it can be improved, I think are very encouraging, and conversations that need to happen.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I got a something. something's happening with somebody's mic. I don't know if it's mine or yours.
Mm, okay.
I'm hearing like a fuzziness. Am I clear?
Okay,
Do I
here.
sound clear?
You sound clear. Here, let me. Oh, I can't put on the echo cancellation while we're recording. It might be my earbuds, which I can take them off, but it's really windy where I am. We're getting a storm coming in. So
Okay.
I can go grab my other headphones though.
So is your mic, the mic you're using is your headphones?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's actually what it is, to be honest.
Is it okay? Let me go grab my other headphones real quick.
Okay, yeah, I'll stop this and then we'll start up
Okay.
again.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Give me. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think that's